Was your life ruined overnight? In 2017, my wife had me falsely arrested for domestic abuse. She had actually threatened to do so a month previously, and it put the fear of God into me. So I took the next day off from work, went to court, and tried to get a restraining order against her and possibly have her removed from our home. The judge refused to give me one. He told me that because my wife hadn't physically threatened me, he had no grounds on which to grant me a restraining order. He did, however, say he would give me a no-abuse order, which meant that my wife couldn't threaten me like that again. I told His Honor that if that was all the court was willing to do that day, I'd much prefer to just drop the whole matter, as having my wife served with a no-abuse order would fail to offer me any real protection from false accusation and would just make the situation worse. But he said he'd already begun writing out the order and was going to give it to me anyway. He then wished me good luck and a good day. There was a court advocate who had assisted me with the restraining order paperwork, and gone with me before the judge. She was a very sweet girl, and when we got outside the courtroom, she said to me, "Christopher, I think the court really let you down today." "And I'm sorry it worked out that way," I said. "Yes, the court has really let me down today. And I guarantee you that sometime within the next few months, my wife is going to have me thrown in jail." And she said, "Well, I sure hope that doesn't happen. Good luck, Christopher, and I hope everything works out for you." And indeed, the no-abuse order did in fact make things worse, much worse. The whole situation became incredibly uncomfortable and hostile, and my wife and I got to the point where we really hated each other. But I refused to flee my own home, and just as I had predicted, about a month after I tried to get the restraining order, she had me arrested. We had been arguing that evening and said some really nasty things to each other, and then she left our apartment and went across the hall to a girlfriend's. I thought it was all over. 10 minutes later a police car pulled up in front of our building, lights flashing. I knew immediately my wife must have called them, but deep down I guess I really didn't believe my wife would be sadistic enough to have me arrested, inasmuch as I had never been anything but good to her. I was wrong. 2 officers came in and asked me what was going on. I said, "Nothing's going on, and I have no idea why you guys are here." They asked, "Has there been an altercation between you and your wife?" I said, "No. Just an argument. Just words. Is this a noise complaint?" They ignored that query and asked, "Where's your wife?" I told them, "I believe she's right across the hall at a friend's." "Okay," they told me, "stay here while we go speak to her." "No problem," I replied. They went across the hall and were there for 20 minutes. And I knew something must be going on, because it doesn't take 20 minutes to tell 2 cops that we just had an argument and that everything was fine. I knew she must be inventing some kind of major bullcrap story for them. And sure enough, when the officers returned 20 minutes later, they told me to stand up and put my hands behind my back, as they were placing me under arrest for domestic violence. Domestic violence? I said. What violence? It was a simple verbal argument. They said, "Well, she's saying differently. And we're placing you under arrest." What did she say? I asked. She claimed I put my hands on her? They ignored those questions and proceeded to handcuff me and bring me to the police station. I found out the next day that she'd told them I had grabbed her by the hair and thrown her to the floor, which, please believe me, was a complete and total fabrication. An utter invention on her part. I've never hit a woman in my life or treated a woman in any such